Hello all and welcome to another Diablo 4 Slam the Server build. Today I want to talk about the Barbarian. I got two different variants for you. One is one of my personal favorites, which is the Bleed build. We're going to jump into that one right now. We're going to start off with Flay here. We deal 5% damage and then inflict 36 bleeding damage over 5 seconds. Also, we're going to take Enhanced Flay, which if you're using two-handed weapons, if you didn't know on the Barbarian, you can choose which weapons for most of the abilities you want to do the damage with. If you do a two-handed weapon, that doubles the chance from 10% to 20% to make them vulnerable. Now I went ahead and took Combat Flay, mainly because I wanted to get some damage reduction and thorns on there. You can also take this one if you're got some good survivability, then go ahead and take Battle Flay, because that's just going to increase your damage, and that's good all around. But since we're going to be capped at level 20, I wanted to make sure that I was tanky enough that I wouldn't have to worry too much about it. Next up, we're going to go ahead and take Rend. This one cleaves in front of you, dealing 14.4% damage, but it inflicts 115% bleeding damage over 5 seconds. It's huge for your bleeding damage. It's basically going to get the entire crowd in front of you, be good to go. Next up, we're going to take Enhanced Rend. Dealing direct damage to Rend extends the duration of vulnerable on enemies by 2 seconds. And then Rend deals 12% increased damage to vulnerable enemies with the Violent Rend. Now I put 3 points in here, but you only put 1 point in here as you're leveling to get down to some of the other skills. Ultimately, though, I wanted to put 3 in there because that took us up there to that. If you do it at level 1, you're doing about 96. So we wanted to pump that up as much as possible because that's one of my main damage dealers, because I want to hit the crowd with it. Inflict as much bleed damage as I can. Next up, we got 2 in the defensive ability here. I took Ground Stomp, just mainly because I wanted to be able to stun and control, kind of have a little bit of control over the battlefield, if you will. Generate or increases Ground Stomp duration by 1 second, and then when we ground stomp, we're going to gain 25 fury every time we do. So it keeps us going and keeps generating fury and everything for us. The next up, we're taking Iron Skin, again, for a little bit more durability. And we're going to go ahead and take Enhanced Iron Skin as well as Tactical Iron Skin, which gives us a little bit of a heal on there. Now, again, if you feel like you're good to go, you don't need any more defense, you could swap this out and go up to Rallying Cry. And Tactical Rallying Cry. It's going to generate some more fury and just kind of work out a little bit better if you don't need the damage or defensiveness. And then we're going to come down here. I took Leap, mainly for maneuverability, so I can get around a little bit easier. We took Enhanced Leap and then Power Leap. That way we gain a little bit more fury, because Ren uses up a lot of fury. So need to make sure we keep it up. Next, we have Rupture. This is basically, you've probably been hit by this if you hadn't played Barbarian at all. It's those guys that they stab into you, hold it for a little bit, and then they pull it out, does a boatload of damage. This same thing, anybody that's bleeding, you're going to go ahead and puncture in or rapture in, and then when you remove it, it's going to explode, dealing damage to everybody if you use the Enhanced Rupture and Fighting Rupture. This one will also heal you for it. You could increase your attack speed if you wanted to with this one, but it's more about getting as many people to bleed as you can. If you get a big group around you, you're going to stun them, hit them with Rend as much as you can, then rupture somebody, they're going to explode. It's going to take care of most of the crowd. Now, again, we're only going to level 20 in the Server Slam, but we do have those extra 2 points from Renowned. So I went ahead and dropped a couple into here for Hamstring. Your bleeding affects slow enemies, so we're also applying a slow, so they're not moving around too much for us. And then your bleeding effects deal 6% increased damage to vulnerable enemies. So now essentially we're dealing the 20% vulnerable and then an extra 6%. So that's basically my bleed damage build in a nutshell. Again, hoping we get some certain legendaries, maybe, but odds are we probably won't. So just make yourself as beefy as possible and go with that. All right, so next up, I went ahead and built a Barbarian build, not centered around bleed. This one's just going to be about using as much of the arsenal as we can. I went ahead and used Bash just because I wanted to try and get them to stun. So every 4 times we get a stun. It's handy. Enhanced Bash, when we stun them, we gain 5 base life as Fortify. And damaging a stunned enemy with Bash generates an additional 3 Fury, 4 Fury if you're using two-handed weapons. Again, when you're looking through these skills, especially on Barbarian, pay attention because some of them do different effects or extended effects if you're using one-handed or two-handed or dual wielding. So just really pay attention to that when you're looking through. And always, you can make variants to these builds. This is just something I feel like would be good. I might change it in the middle of playing it because I realize, oh, this doesn't work as good. So just try stuff out, see how it goes. And then next, we're going to go ahead and take Whirlwind with Enhanced Whirlwind, and then Violent Whirlwind, which basically we deal 30% increased damage until it's canceled. As well as I really liked Upheaval, so we're going to go ahead and grab that one. Enhanced Upheaval and Violent Upheaval. Basically let you berserk and all that, so just extra damage and whatnot. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to go ahead and grab Rallying Cry with Enhanced Rallying Cry, which grants the Unstoppable so you can move around easily. And then it generates 20 Fury and then grants you an additional 50% Fury regeneration resource. Now, you also base get 50% Fury regeneration with this. So that's basically just 100% of anything you're doing, you're just generating Fury. So that's a huge thing. I went ahead and grabbed Warcry because we're just upping our damage and making sure we can keep going. Between that and Rallying Cry, we're just going to be upping damage and going. We took the Enhanced Warcry. It gives us Berserking for 4 seconds. And then Power Warcry, which if at least 6 enemies are in your Warcry, the damage bonus is increased by 30%. Again, more damage. We're just trying to pump up our damage so that we can do all that extra damage to them. Finally, I took Death Blow. Again, it's one of my favorites. 144% damage if you put 3 points into it. And then you get deals 100% increased damage to bosses, which is big because, you can dart around. Once you buff yourself up, you go on for the Death Blow, boom. You're going to see some big numbers there. If Death Blow, Fighter's Death Blow. If Death Blow damages at least one enemy, you gain 20 Fury. Again, we're just always generating Fury as much as we can. And that's, we just want to make sure we have as much Fury as we can so we can keep casting skills and stuff. That's pretty much my thoughts on Barbarian. I really liked Barbarian as well as Druid. I liked all the classes, but those were the 2 I really enjoyed. But those are my thoughts on Barbarian. Again, guys, make sure to like and subscribe and go ahead and leave some comments down below. Let me know. If you have any changes or things you think would work better, I'd love to hear about it. Have a good one.